Difficult to see, but the CCTV operator picked up on that.
In slow motion, the smaller man can clearly be seen slashing with the knife. He was later jailed for 9 months. It's not just outside the pubs and clubs that the cameras are having an impact, but inside as well. Security cameras filmed these men in a hotel bar, helping themselves to drinks. The barman returns and they order and pay for a half. But once his back is turned, they help themselves to another drink, and another, and another. The following morning, the duty manager viewed the tape and the men were asked to settle their bill and leave. The cameras pick up 700 incidents every year and are already having a major impact on deterring crime in Barrow.
The use of CCTV has not only helped us detect it, but in 2 years has reduced the incidence of violence and disorder in the town centre by 1/3.
Sometimes people only need to be protected from themselves. This man has had so much to drink that it takes him nearly 3 minutes just to get on his bike. When he eventually sets off, he dangerously weaves his way along the road. The police are informed, but initially have difficulty attracting his attention. He was later fined £25 for being drunk in charge of a bicycle. A routine day at work almost ends in tragedy for one father and son team. But as we're about to see, not only did Bob and Starson Holman escape with their lives, they managed to capture the entire event on video. The Holman family are builders. In the winter of 1996, they'd been working on a new house in the hills above Portland in Oregon.
It had been raining so hard that we didn't have a lot of work to do that day, so we decided to go up and just do some filming, checking on this house that I had done some work on.
Bob was worried the property might have been damaged by flooding. As they drove up the hillside, the signs of weather damage were plain to see. Starson started filming.
This is by the Prosser job. The whole bank is caving in here.
They parked at the top of the hill and got out.
We were just kind of standing there on the road, and all of a sudden we seen this large area of trees, 20, 30 feet high, start slowly moving kind of down the hill towards us.
Wow! You don't film, you got it?
Yeah.
Look at that. It's going right across the road. Perfect. We were parked right there.
We didn't think there was any kind of danger or safety was involved or anything like that.
I was just walking down the road backwards, filming it.
Wow, look at it. It's coming down the hill here. I'm getting my truck out.
The mudslide began to look more threatening. While Starson continued filming, Bob ran back for the truck.
Whoa! Yes! Go! Yeah!
And I yelled at him, get in the back, get in the back.
Go, 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 go! Go! Go, faster! 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 Go, 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 go! Keep going, keep going! Go, 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 this car! Oh, this is awesome! Okay, it stopped. Wow! Oh my God! That was incredible.
Bob and Starson had had a miraculous escape. The mudslide had left a trail of devastation, wrecking 3 houses and writing off 4 cars.
About a mile and just wiped out everything in its path. All the way down there, there's the truck that was kind of leading the...
You could just feel the rumble of it, and you could hear the screeching of it and just the crunching of the cars together and how just easily it knocked them off the road like they were just toy cars.
Go, go, go!
That's what was really strange about it, that the thing actually came all the way down the road. Instead of just going straight, it actually came around. It's like it was almost like it was chasing us or something.
Oh, this is awesome!
Well, now it's time to see if you can help solve a crime with the I Spy appeal. It's the 1st of August 1997. Two armed robbers smash their way into a jewellery shop in Crewe, Cheshire. The staff lock themselves in a back room. One of the robbers spots a security camera. He smashes it with a sledgehammer, but is still filmed by another. They escape with £72,000 worth of Rolex watches. On the 30th of November 1998, the same shop is hit again. Once more, staff run for cover as the armed gang smash their way in. This time there are 4 of them. They ransack the shop in minutes, stealing Rolex watches and rings worth £300,000. The same people are thought to be responsible for both robberies. They were well disguised, but detectives hope someone will recognise their clothing or may know of someone selling genuine Rolex watches at the time of the raids. If you can help in any way, call Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. The calls are free and you don't have to give your name. Cameras are now a common sight in almost every town. Each day, the average person will be filmed an incredible 71 times. But it's not just on the streets that cameras are fighting crime. This camera is called a Leo. It costs £250,000 and it can read a number plate at 1,000 feet. It has to. It's attached to one of these. The camera is becoming the most powerful tool of the police air support unit.
90 miles an hour, stop this speed.
Barking, East London, and police have spotted this car speeding through a residential area.
Vehicle crashed, both doors opening. MP suspect detained on the roundabout A13 junction with
The driver of the car is a young woman, and with her are 2 female passengers and a toddler. She was given 180 hours community service and disqualified from driving for 3 years. The Met Air Support Unit covers 1,300 square miles in an area inhabited by 10 million people. The average response time to a call is just 4 minutes.
He can drive as fast as he likes, he can run as far or as fast as he likes, he can try and hide, but as soon as a criminal is located on my camera screen, he's not getting away.
This burglar even tries to swim across a canal to escape police, but the camera is tracking his every move.
The river to the west of Winchmore Hill and Crichton Ground now towards Burley Gardens. Over.
He's now running same direction, opposite side of the river, climbing over the fence. Yeah, PC coming up to him now. That's him, confirmed. Green jacket, black trousers, 1 PC with him.
It's May 1996, and the Air Support Unit are responding to a suspected burglary. They're the first to arrive at the street.
You can't see street numbers at 1,000 feet with a naked eye. So using the zoom capabilities of the camera, then we could zoom in and pick up number 95.
They're looking for number 3 and move to the other end of the street.
For your information, the back door of number 3 is open. It's got broken glass, and when we initially came over, we didn't see anybody moving away, so there's a possibility they might still be in the house. Just for your information, we've just got somebody come to the door, had a quick look and darted back inside, so there's definitely somebody in there. They're both in the back, the 2 suspects in the back making over the gardens. If the Panda goes back to where the red van's parked, you can get through into the back gardens that way. PC's coming into the gardens, into the next garden now, over the fence. PC's from the Panda, over the fence to your right now. Go to your right. He's out onto the main road, running towards the Panda. Running towards the Panda. The other side of that red van. That's him, that's him. PC down on there, he's just knocked the PC over. Still running. Got 3 PCs behind him.
The officer later went to hospital with broken ribs.
Keeping our eye on him, over. Got a PC coming up behind him, just about to get him now. And he's got him. Over.
The second boy was found hiding in the garden shed. Both were charged with burglary and received 1 year's supervision orders. It's time to take a break now, but coming up in part 2, the arrest of a dangerous armed robber. And an animal cruelty case is solved with a video camera.
I was worried at the time. I didn't know whether he'd turn around and come start on me, because he was doing it to a dog, so why not me?
Welcome back to I Spy. The camera plays a vital role in putting criminals behind bars. Almost every police force in the country now has its own video surveillance unit. But the violent offender in our next story was not filmed by the police. He was caught on camera by a 16-year-old boy. This is Mark Cousins. He repeatedly beats his dog. But this time he's being filmed by his neighbour, Ben Marjoram.
Like everyone down the street, I think, had had enough of it, but no one would do anything about it.
Ben and his mum tried filming Cousins from an upstairs window after RSPCA inspectors said they needed proof for a prosecution. But although they could hear what was happening, they couldn't see.
Can you hear him in that film?
So in August last year, Ben decided he'd have to get much closer to the action.
Well, at first, when I first looked through the fence with the camera, I just thought he was having a laugh, because he was walking around the garden saying he'd been a bad boy and that. And then I saw him get the dog in the corner of the garden and actually kicking the hell out of it, making it really yelp, which was a horrible feeling. Hearing it yelp, it just made you quiver. I kept ducking. He kept, after he kicked the dog, he kept turning around and looking towards the fence. So I thought I ducked, got out of the way, so he couldn't see me or anything. And then when he turned around again, I'd pop back up and carry on filming. I was worried at the time. I didn't know whether he'd turn around and come start on me, because he was doing it to a dog, so why not me?
When I first examined the videotape, I was quite astonished by that anyone could give a dog such a severe beating. In my 12 years service with the Society, I would say it is the worst severe kicking of an animal I have seen. Once we'd got the video evidence, that was all we needed. We were home and dry. We knew we would be able to stop Cousins continually beating and torturing that dog.
Cousins was found guilty of cruelty, jailed for a month and banned from keeping animals for 10 years. After months of treatment, Ralph is now fully recovered and has happily settled into a new home.
Ben was prepared to put his neck on the line and do something about it. The video evidence is of paramount importance, and our thanks must go to Ben Marjoram for that.
Inner city London often conjures up a bleak image, run-down estates and high crime. But in this week's Street Watch, we focus on Brixton, an area where, with the help of CCTV, the local community is fighting back. It's 5 in the morning and camera operators spot what appears to be an argument between two men. It's about to get more serious. Police are contacted and an officer quickly arrives to control the situation. On this occasion, the victim decided not to press charges.
I think everybody knows that Brixton's had a reputation in the past for street crime, and local people, the council and the government as well, I think, decided that enough was enough and we were going to do something about this.
It's New Year's Eve in nearby Streatham. As nightclubs empty onto the street, tempers begin to boil over. The camera operator keeps watch in case it gets out of hand. The man on the left appears aggressive, and the operator spots something in his hand, a knife. He calms down and walks away, but he's kept under surveillance. When police arrive, they're told exactly where he is, and he's arrested for possessing an offensive weapon. He was later fined £100. Here, a woman shoplifter protests at being arrested. A passerby starts to intervene. But operators alert other police, and a swift response, in number, prevents further trouble. The man was cautioned.
I think if you come to Brixton now, you feel it's somewhere that you want to be. It's somewhere that you can go to a club, use the shops, go to a rock concert.
Brixton also has late-night food stores. This thief wasn't spotted by the shopkeeper, but he was seen by the camera operators. They couldn't quite see what he'd stolen, so they kept him under observation until it was revealed. A freshly cooked chicken. For the police, video evidence can be the vital early clue or the final piece in the jigsaw that helps close a difficult case. When flying squad officers from Scotland Yard were hunting one notorious armed robber, the camera provided both. A gunman is filmed as he runs through the streets after a robbery, the latest in a series of raids that are about to come to an abrupt end. The story began 7 months earlier in central London.
We had a series of about 6 robberies over a period of a few months that were very similar in method. We were always getting different descriptions of him because he was somewhat good at disguising himself, and we had very few clues to go on.
But at this robbery of the Bradford and Bingley, he makes his first mistake. He's chased out of the building society by the manager, who spots him driving off in his getaway car. Police checked tapes from the street surveillance cameras and spotted the car reversing into a parking space moments before the robbery. With the latest technology, detectives were able to pick out the first 4 digits of the plate. They then checked hundreds of different permutations against registered car owners. After ruling out all male drivers, they identified a woman whose boyfriend fitted the bill. His name was Paul Dixon, and he had a previous conviction for armed robbery. But they needed more evidence. A surveillance operation was set up, and Dixon's every move was recorded by police cameramen.
Stand by, stand by. He's out of the phone box. I've got vision, but I'll leave it to you, Abba.
As the camera operator keeps Dixon within his sights, the flying squad lie in wait. On day 4, Dixon's right arm appears stiff. They suspect he's concealing a shotgun. A security van pulls up outside a building society. Dixon makes his move. He grabs the cash box and runs down a subway. The cameraman rushes to another window, and as Dixon re-emerges, he's caught on film again, with smoke now pouring from the cash box.
We know he's approaching his vehicle. He's got to reach for the handle of the door with one of his hands, and that's his weakest moment. And that's when the decision to arrest is given.
He drops the shotgun as he gets in, giving armed officers vital extra seconds.
I called the attack, the 3 vehicles moved forward. I immediately smashed the window with my firearm. He made a move towards the shotgun that was on the passenger seat beside him. I shouted armed police and to show me his hands. He was then taken out of the vehicle by the rest of the team.
Cheers. We then found he was wearing body armour.
Yank it up, let's have a look. That's great.
He had the sawn-off shotgun, which was loaded with 2 cartridges. He had a further 6 cartridges in his pocket. He had a CS gas canister. He had a knife. He was basically ready for a war.
Dixon was jailed for 11 years for armed robbery.
It was absolutely critical to obtain that very first clue from the CCTV. Equally critical was the video footage that we took when we were watching him, because it brought it to life for members of the jury. that enabled them to reach the right decision.
Finally, it's not always straightforward trying to park the car, especially if someone else has their eye on your space. This young woman protests when hers is taken, but the man driving is not interested. The matter's closed. But not as far as she's concerned. In his absence, she sneaks back to his car. 10 minutes later, he returns from his shopping trip and goes to drive off. But he encounters an unexpected problem. It's not just one, but two flat tyres. And that's all we have time for. Good night.
Don't go away, there's more fly-on-the-wall observation in an action-packed motorway next.